How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and today I will be doing an impression video on the latest episode of My Hero Academia, Season 4, which is episode 65, and this episode is the first canon episode of the season, as last week's episode was a filler episode that was basically summarizing the previous seasons up to that point, along with some new material in the episode. But this episode is the first real canon material for this season, and I enjoyed this episode. This episode is more of a setup episode for what's to come in this arc, and I gotta say, one thing that I do like about My Hero Academia, especially the anime, manages to nail this too, is that I like how it has a good balance between these serious moments in the series, along with the more goofy, lighthearted moments in the series, and that's one thing that I really enjoy about My Hero Academia. There's a good balance between the two. Now, I do like how it's set up between two different fronts. It's not just, a setup episode for one part of the arc. There's two things going on here. So, let's start with the villains. This picks up from where Season 3 ended off, where Twice met Overhaul, and basically he's bringing him to meet Shigaraki and the other League members. Now, I gotta love Overhaul here. Very calm and collected individual, and it's revealed that he was, part of a underground Yakuza that's pretty much diminished thanks to All Might's presence in the fall of All For One. And I like how they look up to All For One, but now that he's been kind of imprisoned, they're trying to, rise up and find a new leader. And I like how Overhaul pretty much puts Shigaraki in his place and calling him pretty much an ineffective leader because he's pretty much failed constantly, and he's lost a lot of top tier villains, like Muscular, for example, as a result of not having a solid plan in mind. So Overhaul, he has his own plan in mind, and essentially he wants the League to join him, and he wants to be the leader, instead of it being vice versa. And Shigaraki's not really happy with this, and this is kind of where things kind of go down as one of the members, Magnine. I think that's how we pronounce her name. She basically goes to attack Overhaul, and Overhaul, is pretty much all he does is swipe her hand, or swipe her arm, and yeah, she just explodes and dies. Probably one of the craziest scenes in My Hero Academia up to this point. Yeah, she's gone. And Compass, in an attempt to avenge Magnine, or however you pronounce her name, attacks Overhaul, and his arm is blown off completely. And that's when Shigaraki jumps in the action, and he almost gets Overhaul, until one of Overhaul's lackeys gets in the way and gets decayed. And that's when they basically take their leave. And I like how this is like a perfect setup, as, you can tell that Toga was definitely affected by Magnine's death and wants to avenge her, but Shigaraki stops him. And it not only sets up, this sets up two things right here in just one part. It not only sets up Overhaul as this major threat, considering what he just displayed on screen. It also shows, the League, potentially wanting to get revenge against Overhaul for what he's done. Now, on to the second part of the episode, which actually begins at the very beginning of the episode before we cut to the villains, and then it cuts back. But Deku, or Midoriya, has a conversation with Gran Torino, and he wants to go work under him for his work study, or continue working under him, which of course, Gran Torino, acts like he doesn't know who Deku is, or yeah, a little funny scene there, but he declines, which kind of makes sense considering what happened with the stain incident. I don't blame him. I probably wouldn't take Midoriya back either, but he actually suggests Midoriya go work under Sir Nighteye, which is All Might's former partner. Now, I do find it interesting that the first years were not supposed to have internships or work studies, but because of All Might's retirement and the potential rise of villains as a result of the symbol of peace being gone, this becomes a necessity. So, yeah, I like it. So, I like how Midoriya, he goes to All Might initially to ask about Sir Nighteye and potentially work under him, which All Might refuses, and he gives a few excuses. But, main reason is that he's not on good terms with him. So, he actually arranges for Mirio to meet up with him and Midoriya, which I like the little scene where the big three think that Mirio's in trouble, but he actually goes to the office and meets up with All Might and Midoriya, and it's revealed that Mirio's actually been working under Sir Nighteye for actually about a year. And what I like here is that Mirio asks Midoriya what kind of hero he wants to be, and he responds that he wants to be the greatest hero, which Mirio then, he likes that response and decides to take Midoriya to Nighteye to potentially work with them, which I do like this scene. I also like the fact that it shows a little scene where All Might is talking to the principal, the little rat dude, and it's pretty much, manga spoilers, but it's revealed that Mirio was actually supposed to be All Might's successor, and I'm not going to reveal any more, but that's just a little scene of what's to come in the future. We then cut to a scene of Todoroki and Bakugo heading out to get their provisional licenses, and Midoriya, he's heading out with Mirio to Sir Nightaye's place. Now Mirio tells Midoriya that Nighteye is a strict man, but in order to basically impress him and get to work under him, he needs to make him laugh. We get a little scene of Bubble Girl, which is Nightaye's partner, reading a report off, and he doesn't see the humor in it. He then bounds her and then tickle tortures her as a result. That's her punishment, which I think is funny considering how serious the dude looks and acts, and then you see something like this happening. Midoriya and Mirio walk in right at that moment and see this, and Midoriya's like, what the heck is this? But in order to try and impress Nighteye, he decides to imitate All Might to Mirio's horror. And Nighteye just looks at that, not impressing, thinking that Midoriya is mocking All Might, which is definitely a good setup for the next episode. So yeah, this was a very solid episode. I really liked what the Studio Bones does with the My Hero Academia anime. I do definitely like the good balance between the serious moments and the more lighthearted moments. I really like, the one thing I like about My Hero Academia. It just has such a good balance between everything, and all the characters work really well. And I gotta say, I gotta give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. So guys, what did you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and be sure to like and subscribe. I will talk to you all probably tomorrow, as I've got a lot of videos to upload tomorrow. Anyways, see you all later.